When we install R and RStudio for the first time, most things we want to do are possible, such as basic statistical operations, graphics, and so on. Yet there's always going to come a point when there's more we want to do that we can't with the basic operations built into R. So whenever we want to do these things, we're extremely lucky because one of the main strengths of R is that it's an open source tool. And that means there are loads of what's called contributed packages, which allows us to install some extra components for these special purposes. So the R installation already contains some libraries of packages. If we come over to the Packages tab, we can see all of these packages that are already pre-tagged in R. And if you come down, you'll notice that some of these are already checked off, which means they're already installed onto our disk. These are all just folders that are on our disk, and a system library is created when we first install R. Packages generally contain functions that have been written by the community, libraries of compiled code, and some data sets as well. Pretty much, if there's something that you want to do, there's probably a package that's been written to do it. The best packages that you can find is hosted by the CRAN, or the Comprehensive R Archive Network, and the website for CRAN is cran.r-project.org. Now, all of the packages that are stored on CRAN have been extremely vetted and gone through a strong review process in order to ensure its functionality. So I would highly suggest that if you are going to use some type of R package, make sure that it's from the CRAN. Now, if we want to know what packages are available to us, we can type in the function library, and more detailed information is going to pop up. And so now we can scroll through this new tab, and it shows us all of the basic packages that are available to us just through the download of R and RStudio. Now this mimics what we already see here in our Packages tab on the right-hand side. So if we want more detailed information about a specific package, we can just type library, help, and then in quotes we can type in a specific package. So let's type in the package NLME. I'll hit return, and it'll give us the package information for NLME, which tells us a lot about the functionality, the functions that are written, and the sorts of things that you can do with the package itself. Note that this is the same information that you find on the CRAN if you search for the package within the CRAN website. If you want to find a description of the package, we can do package description, and then type the package name in quotes, and it'll give us more specific information about the package. Another helpful tool is if you search for the package, the Google search CRAN R project, a PDF of the package will come up. And this is all of the documentation that was needed to be submitted to the CRAN in order for it to be published on their website, with very specific criteria from the organizers. So this is the full documentation of the entire package of everything you'd possibly need. It gives examples of how all the functions are used, example data sets, and everything you could possibly need to learn how to use the package. So how do you install a package in R? It's actually quite simple. Because we're using the graphic user interface RStudio, we can come down to this area into the Packages tab that says Install. We can click Install, and then it says Install From. We have the CRAN repository selected, and then we can just type in whatever package we want and then click Install. However, I generally don't recommend doing it this way because it's really important, once again, to be transparent with the code that we're typing. So if we're developing or writing code, we work on it, we put it away for 6 months, we come back to it, there's a good chance that we're going to forget that we had to install a particular package. Similarly, if we share our code with colleagues, they might not be aware that we have to download a particular package to run the code if we just went through the click and install. So because of this, I'll usually just write the code in myself to install the package, and then I'll make comments to remind myself that I had to install particular packages. So anytime we install a new package, it's always going to be a two-step process. First, we have to install the package. R has to be able to grab the folders and files from the CRAN and install it onto our hard disk. The second part is that we always have to load the package. So we only have to install a package one time. The first time we initialize and install, we do not have to do that again. However, every time we close out R and open it again, we always have to load the package into our code. So the install is only one time, and then the load package is going to be every time we open up the code and work with it again. So installing is quite simple. I wrote 2 comments here. And once again, note that I'm putting it in the code. I'm not just doing it in the console because this is going to be important for sharing the code and revisiting the code at a later time. So first we have to install the package. So we can use the command install packages. And for the argument, all we have to do is type in the name of the package in quotations. So as an example, let's use the package psych, which is a very popular package for researchers in the social, behavioral, and psychological sciences. So I'll just run this code. And then we have to wait for the computer to install the packages, and it usually takes a few minutes. And it says here that it's downloaded. and it tells us where the package has been installed on our computer. Now, the second thing that we need to do is load the package. So once again, every time we close R and open it again, we're going to have to load the package. So in order to load the package, we'll use the command library, and then in here, we'll type in the name of the package without quotations. So I'll run the code, and it just tells us that it was built under a different R version, which is completely fine. So if you come down here into the packages, and we can search for the psych package, we'll notice here that it's loaded into our disk, the procedures for psychological, psychometric, and personality research. And because we loaded it, it's now checked. So if this is not showing up in your packages, if you just close out of R, open it again, it should show up in your disk file. And that's how you load a package. It's as simple as that.